Hi, I'm Marcia Tuft, and welcome to the Mooney Tales podcast. In this episode, I welcome fellow indie author Nan Arkwright, who wrote an award-winning, 17 books, but we're here to talk about her very first award-winning book, Mission Control, A Big Feelings Adventure. So Nan is a pediatric occupational therapist, and she supports kids and their families with her amazing picture books that help kids become resilient problem solvers and able to empower themselves to take control and responsibility for their own big feelings. And she helps families and kids work together. So, Nan, why don't you tell us a little bit more about what inspired you to write your amazing books and where you get all your inspiration?
Well, as you said, thank you for the nice welcome. And you did a great job of describing my job. And yeah, I work with kids, toddlers through teens. I see them both individually and in social skills groups. And so that's where my material comes from for writing the books, because there's a lot of things that many different kids are struggling with. And so I thought I should write a book. I started with one about doing hard things, because that's one of the biggest things that kids don't want to start doing something they perceive to be difficult. And as an adult, as our expectations seem like they should be not that big of a deal, but actually they're a really big deal to a child. Just to write one letter sometimes can be a big deal, much less a 5-paragraph essay that fifth graders are supposed to write. So I'm trying to take them from writing one letter all the way up to writing essays and reports,
Mhm.
and depending on their age, of course. And so doing hard things is really hard. And it's not just academics, but at home, I don't want to go to bed. It is hard to stop playing and go do something that you don't want to do. And so anything that a child is protesting about and feeling like it's too much, feeling like it is not something that is fun, therefore I don't want to do it. It's hard. It takes too much time. Even going potty takes too much time. And washing hands afterwards takes too much time in many kids' view. And
Mm.
so if they can just like wait till the very last minute, then that's better in their mind. And so because it's hard to stop playing. And that's really what it revolves around is I just want to be playing. I'm a kid. That's my job. How come I can't keep playing? Why do I have to do these things? And so
Mhm.
it's trying to help kids learn how to do those hard things. That's what this book is about. And then, you said I've got 17. Well, I thought I was going to stop at 17 because I have a million ideas, but
Oh,
not
yeah.
enough to warrant, like, okay, I'm going to start a new series or something like that. But this one is one that I couldn't ignore when I had the brainstorm. And so it's about thinking about your thinking. So kids don't learn, they don't know how to think. So they
Okay.
think one way, and that's usually the most negative way, and
Mhm.
they view the world in that way. And so some the books, of course, do say that, but I'm calling out that we can think about our thinking and change how we think, because there's lots of different ways. So with all the books I've written, there are a lot of activities that are on my website that go along with that. And a lot of them are about sharing ideas about what would you do? What do you think would happen in this situation? So they get exposed to different ways that people have of thinking. So that's my latest book, and it's pulling in all the characters from my books that in this.
Can't wait to see that book. That sounds like such a powerful topic because it's well documented what what the mind can conceive
Yeah,
really
yeah,
sets your limitations for what you can achieve. And
yeah,
if you really correct your thinking, you can set yourself up for success. But you have to
right.
believe it's possible. So you gotta get that positive thinking.
And, it comes up most often when things don't go their way, either because something they're trying to do doesn't work out, or because they didn't get a cookie before dinner, or whatever it is, things didn't go their way. That's one of the top things that parents call me about. Is
So
my
it's kind of reframing these temper tantrums and putting that on a fair, neutral territory where the parent and the child can work through together and
Yeah,
achieve success
yeah,
together.
yeah, yeah. Even 3-year-olds can do that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, would you like to share some of your book, Mission Control? This is a very special book to me because it won the Reader's Favorite Gold Medal the same year that my first book won the
Ah,
Reader's Favorite Gold
yeah,
Medal. So we
I
won the
remember.
gold medal together, and it was such a special achievement, for both of us.
Something to celebrate for both of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yes. It's very exciting to get awards.
Helps
Validate.
you believe in yourself and helps you to keep going because sometimes you just don't know. You have friends tell you your books are good, but it's really to
Mhm.
have that broader feedback makes you feel that, okay, this I did something. And other people are recognizing the value that are in our books.
Right. So I'll go ahead and share the screen so that we can see Mission Control. And this is the cover of it. And the story lends itself more to an adult interpreting the pictures, which is why the book is so great, because it leaves it open to talk about any topic that feels like too much for kids. So I can use it for 3-year-olds. I can use it for academic things. I can use it for teens. I can use it for any age group because it just fits any situation.
Right. It's not just a story you tell at bedtime. It's a
Yeah.
story that you have a conversation about.
Conversation. That's what I want all parents to do with my books, is to have a conversation about it. And a lot of these free gifts that I have on my website do specifically suggest, here's some conversation starters about this topic. Yeah, I want, and I give a lot of tips for the adults reading the books to help them understand how they can start conversations with kids. So this is Spaceman Sam, and he is the main character's uh, this this is actually showing a little funny on this screen because it's 2 pages, but it's only showing you one at a time. So Spaceman Sam teaches kids first that we notice we have messages that we get from our body that help us know what we're feeling emotionally. And so we're trying to connect our thoughts and our feelings with our bodies and recognize the emotions that go with that. And so if we can say, I'm feeling upset to someone, then that person who has a calm nervous system in the moment can help a child calm themselves. They can borrow their calm. And then once things are calm, then a child can solve it together with a parent or on their own. So this is what the story is. Joseph, the main character, has this big reaction to his mom telling him it's time to go to bed. And they have a little talk about it. She calms him, and then he goes into his imagination and figures out how to solve the problem about doing something that he doesn't want to do. So this is him watching his favorite TV show, and he's learning all about this. And he's sitting with his dog, who goes everywhere with him because he's his best friend. He's pretending to be just like Spaceman Sam. And then his mom comes in. And then this is what happens because he doesn't like what his mom asked him to do. And so I think that a lot of kids, when I read this, can recognize that. And they might say, well, maybe not the one on the right, but definitely the one on the left. Or the parents will laugh when they see the one on the right, like, yeah, I recognize that. So the key is for the mom to stay calm, because the child cannot uh, benefit when the parent is reacting to their reaction. But that's really hard for parents to do.
It can be.
This is the 100th time for the day, whatever it is, but it is the secret. So if you notice, it starts off with red, then purple-ish blue, and then it's, no, it doesn't show up here but anyway, now
I'm
it's calm.
seeing it, yeah. But
So it's
these books are best as a paperback, but we want to give you a taste here so you see how to use them.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a page that sometimes I just copy and send home with the family, because it gives language to the parents. It gives body language to the parents also, to help them be able to watch for these signals with your child from the top one to the middle one to the lower one. If a child is not looking like this and you're not feeling like this, you're not going to be able to get your child to solve a problem and be able to move on. They're just going to stay stuck. So she asks him, like, are you ready to do Spaceman Sam's last step of being able to solve the problem? So he has a very active imagination. So he says to his dog, yeah, let's rock it, Gretchen. So he goes into his imagination, and here he is with his dog, who now becomes his partner in space. And they have to defeat the hypnozoids, the little green creatures over there. When he goes into his imagination, he puts on his little spacesuit like this, and he becomes Robot Joe, which is a combination name of robot and Joseph. So he jumps out of his spaceship, and he's ready to battle the hypnozoids. So at first his eyes and his mouth are blue because he's like, I got this. But the hypnozoids are pretty formidable. And so what they represent is these thoughts that we were just actually talking about at the beginning. Like, they are running the show. They have control of him. He cannot override the thoughts of, but I just want things to go my way. I just like watching TV. I don't want to go to bed. And they are very powerful thoughts. And so these are very powerful monsters to overcome. So he tries, but they have very strong tools for keeping him hypnotized and keeping him under their power. And so they've got this hypnotron, and they click the button, and poof, out comes this hypno cable that wraps him up. So now he completely is under their control. You can see his mouth is turned to orange, his eyes are turned to orange. And this is how kids feel. You know, they feel immobilized. They feel like they can't talk. They feel like they are completely unable to make any choices. And this is the fight or flight mode represented here. And he's still fighting it. He doesn't want to do what his mom asked him to do. And this is what happens. They get completely out of control, and there's nothing that they can do. There's nothing the parents can do either. The tantrum has control. And so Gretchen, who represents the mom, coaches him and says, well, look, you've got these buttons on your gauntlet. Why don't you think about one that you could use? And then maybe we can move on. So she's being the calm for him so that he can move on to solve the problem. So he realizes he could breathe. And so he does. And then he tells, so I've also represented the sensations, it's called interoception, the feelings inside of us that we can feel in our body, like butterflies in our tummy or anxiety in our chest or something. And he says, yeah, my head feels funny. But once he starts breathing, he can notice the difference. And I put that in there because I want kids to know, like, notice what's in your body, because it's a really big indicator of stop now before it gets any more challenging. So he tells Gretchen to go help, because he still's not really ready, but he does know that his mom or Gretchen can help. So he sends Gretchen out, and she's surveying the situation and sees it's pretty dire. And so she comes up to the power button, the willpower button, and she uses her paw to scan to open it up, and then she can flip on the willpower button. So this is, kids don't know this word. They don't know what willpower means. And it's really just doing something that you have to do even though you don't like it. And when I ask kids, when it's time to do homework and you feel overwhelmed by it or you don't want to do it, how does it end up getting done? Well, they generally say they get upset, and then they say, and then I end up doing it because I know I have to. And that's basically, well, it's kind of forced. It's not quite willpower, but they get to the point where they can kind of say, okay, I'm just going to do it. Not willingly. And then, so now when Gretchen flips on the switch, the shield comes down on Robojo, and the laser pops out of his head. And now he can zap with his willpower these cables that have been keeping him restrained and out of control. And now he can start thinking, oh, I can solve the problem now. So he turns off the machine, the hypnotron, and then the I love this picture the illustrator did of the
Yeah,
hypnozoids who are like,
like,
what? We had you under our control. You defeated us with willpower. Just the thought of, I'm just going to do it. And so they're like, oh, yeah, tomorrow's another day. We'll get you then. And so he goes back, he's back on a spaceship. He's starting to realize, okay, I got this. And he and Gretchen Robojo say goodbye to each other. And Gretchen, I love this picture. I just
oh
think
yeah.
it's so adorable. And so they go back in, they have this happy reunion. And Gretchen reminds him, yes, it was breathing that helped you. A lot of kids are very resistant to that, but I think it's in how it's delivered. Like, oh, let's do this together. But even if parents are the only ones doing the breathing, it can help secondarily for the child.
I do a lot of dog training, and I've been told, the top dog trainers will say if your dog is tense, you can't control them, but if you just take deep breaths and you relax, then your dog will start mirroring that behavior. So, yeah, just
It's
deep breath,
exactly the same
calm
message.
yourself. Dogs and kids, a lot of the same stuff works for both of us.
I know. I know there's a lot of overlap. Yeah. So then his mom goes through all of the steps the spaceman Sam talks about, just to review for him to kind of understand, like narrate, this is what happened, so he can learn from it and prevent it from happening again, or at least be able to respond to his mom maybe a little more readily as he practices this. So he imagines in his head, that in his imagination, that he is turning off his control panel in a spaceship, and in reality, he's turning off his TV. And his mom is saying, like, oh, your brain grew. Kids love to hear that their brain grew. And so he's like, what? That's awesome. And so his mom promises to tell him when he's all in bed what that means. And so she reviews again, like, remember when you were really upset? And so there's the reminder of how upset he was. And then I shared my calm with you. And after a while, he even admits, I did feel calmer. Of course, his mom did a lot of it, but it's kind of recreated in the imagination. So he kind
Mhm,
of went through those 4 steps by Spaceman Sam twice, once with his mom and once on his own with Gretchen. And
mhm,
then he was back in control. And so this is kind of alluding to the thinking part of the brain connecting with emotional part of the brain. Like if what happened in the imagination is the emotional part of the brain hijacked the thinking part of the brain. So there was no thinking going on. That's the representation of no color. Actually, I didn't point that out, but when he's down on the ground, there's no color in his face and Robojo's face. And so that means, like, I'm not thinking, I have no idea. I'm just completely responsive to my emotions right now. And so he's remembering, like, he did it and how he felt when he did it. And that's when his brain grew. And then his mom says, and how would you like to feel tomorrow? And he says, I'd like to be a kid who can be in charge of my feelings. And then he reassures himself, I'm a kid who can do that. So there's where Robojo comes from. He's got Robojo charging up in the plug, and then he's
mhm.
charging up with his sleep. And then there he is, being like mission accomplished. And this is the poster that I tell kids about a lot. And it's on my website too, if somebody wants to download it. It's tomorrow I'll be a day older. Tomorrow I will be more practiced. Tomorrow doing hard things will be a little easier. And it's just really true. It's
Yes.
just like you're saying with your dog, like practice on your part, takes
Mhm.
practice on the parents' part. And when we can do that as adults, we can end up with this kind of mission accomplished. And
And
so there's a little Easter egg in here behind his pillows. There's Spaceman Sam and the rocket ship, which you don't see until he pulls them out from behind his
mhm.
pillow. So just fun. The illustrator has a lot of fun ideas.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the pictures are
You made a
for a,
great team on this book. And
yeah,
I love the way that you kind of reinforced and had them celebrate that win at the end, because that is so important to recognize that, hey, this was really hard for you, but you did it.
yeah,
And knowing that, okay, your brain grew, you got a little bit smarter, a little bit more accomplished, it's going to make tomorrow that much easier.
yeah,
And as you learn to do hard things, you know that you can do hard things.
Right.
And then that builds your self-confidence, and it sets you up for success in every area of life. So I
Exactly.
love how empowering your books are.
Thank you, Marcia. Yeah, that's the goal because kids don't know, and it's really hard for them to sometimes just absorb it or figure it out on their own. They need
And
direct.
sometimes parents are just so overwhelmed. I my nephew has 4 boys,
Oh,
and they're like 2 of them are like, mm, really close together, a year and a half apart, and then there's a couple, so it's just I can
busy.
imagine one parent dealing with a kid that's going ballistic, then you have a
Yeah,
parent that's dealing with 4 that are going crazy all the time. It's like, and it never works to just respond back with fire if you're getting under
right,
attack. It's like
right.
as the adult, you have to stay calm. You have to
Mhm.
take those deep breaths. You have to be the adult for the family
Right.
to get through it. And your books modeled that so beautifully.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's been fun to do and fun to use with the kids. And I mentioned before I have free gifts on my website.
Mhm.
That I do have one of the things I have besides that poster is a blank gauntlet that kids can print out and make their own
Oh,
uh,
how cool. So you can choose your
buttons.
superpowers?
You can choose your superpowers.
How cool is that?
There it is. Yeah. So it's really fun. And I've done that with kids and they really like doing it. And I laminate it and then put hair bands on the side so they can slip it on their arms and wear it. Real.
Love that.
They really, really like it. They get so excited by it. And
Who
so,
doesn't love
I have,
superheroes?
exactly. And then
Superpower.
the parents can say, oh, find a button. It makes it so much more fun. Kids like things to be fun, and
Oh
they're
yeah.
so much more willing. If you can divert to something fun like this, like, oh, I know what we should do. We should be like Joseph. And so, what button should we get? Let's go get your gauntlet. Let's find a button to push. It just makes kids buy in.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that book.
Pleasure.
And I
It's so
hope
fun.
readers, listeners, I hope you'll check out Nan's all of her books. I will have links in the notes that will take you to her Amazon page for Mission Control, her author page, and also her website where you can get all of the books plus all of the freebies. So look for that in the notes.
Thank
And
you, Marcia.
and I love your idea for your next book. I can't wait to see that one. So okay, so it's clear where you get the inspiration from your books. What brings you the most joy as an author? What's been the most fun for you on your author journey?
Using them with the kids that I'm working with for therapy.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, it really models for them what to do, and then it's a takeaway for the parents. I have them often buying the book on the spot as they see me reading it to their child because they see their child's engaged
Hmm.
and understanding the connection between the character in the book and the character and themselves. And
Hmm.
so they want to reinforce that. And then again, I used to be a teacher before I became an occupational therapist. And so making all the free gifts just took me back to my teaching
Oh,
days,
yeah.
creating fun
Hmm.
activities for kids to do. And so doing those with the kids, they love doing that too. And it's all of them are meant to be reinforcers for the book and for the behavior that we're trying to address. And so there's so many different things that I can almost always pull up a book that says, oh, this is the same as what we're talking about. And some of them I stretch a little bit to fit, but they're all can be flexible in that way
Hmm.
to come close. And like I realized winning and losing, there's a story about that. And it is also about if you don't get what you want, if you ask for a cookie before dinner again, then if you don't get what you want, I think it feels like losing. So, uh, and so you can use it, even stretch it to that, not just winning and losing a game. So if
Hmm.
people are flexible with their thinking about how could this apply in this situation, I think
Hmm.
there's a lot more opportunities to imagine ways to use it than just the literal way that's in the book.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. As I said, I love your books. One of the things I know, growing up, I struggled with things at times like third grade, it was math. And it's like the multiplication tables. And it's like, I did not want to learn the multiplication tables. But I thought, hey, my sister had to learn this. I guess if she can memorize it, I guess I can memorize. So part of it is just getting over the hurdle to say, okay, I guess I got to do it.
Uh-huh,
Okay.
uh-huh.
And if you can learn that, okay, it's not fun going through all the anxiety of, I don't want to do it. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, just do it.
Yeah.
Somebody else can do it. I can do it. My sister did it. My genes must be okay. I should be able to do it. I saved myself so much time not stressing out about can I, and just got to work
Uh-huh.
on doing it. And I think that's one of the other things I saw in Mission Control is like you're setting them up that tomorrow is going to be easier. And pretty soon they're going to be to the point where, okay, we don't have to have this battle. We can just figure out how to proactively move on and have fun. And
Yeah, that's what I show kids. Like we can skip all these pages in the middle. Just
yeah,
say it's time to do this, and you just say okay.
yeah.
And they like that idea too. Like, oh, that does sound better. I can skip the whole
Well, there's more
tantrum.
time for fun. If
Yeah,
if you if you
yeah,
skip the temper tantrums, it's like I can get to the
yes.
fun spot. So I can have this much time for fun and then okay, I got to do this stuff and maybe it's not the most fun yet,
Uh-huh.
but hey, parents and kids, dirty little secret, doing hard things becomes fun once you learn how to do hard things.
Uh-huh.
I felt a great
It
deal of
is.
pride knowing that I could do hard things.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's a
And
great point, Marcia. Yeah, yeah.
maybe that's a
But
future book. Doing hard things is fun.
yeah, that's a great idea because it's really true. But
Yeah,
as a kid, you don't understand that you don't haven't lived long enough to understand what we understand, that
yeah,
I'm going to take on this challenge and I'm going to feel good when I finish it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is true. Marcia, you've done fantastic with your books too, though.
I am
You've written a
starting to
lot.
really
You've
get
got your
some
five.
traction now, and
Yeah.
it's so people that aren't indie authors don't know how hard it is to
Uh-huh.
write and publish a book, get it edited, get the right cover, and find the audience. And
Right.
Amazon doesn't always know how to market our books, and mine
Yeah.
are STEM adventure fiction. So think Nancy Drew meets MacGyver. So there's not
Yeah.
really a category there, but so
Yeah.
I had to get the right cover. I had to learn how to do Facebook ads, but now but the awards are what really helped me believe in my books and keep going and fighting for them, and then working at getting those reviews, and
Yeah.
the feedback from the reviews kind of just helps you keep going, and then and figuring out how to market them, how to connect with readers to share this is why you want to read my books.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it's something nobody tells you at first. It's like,
No,
okay,
I
first you got to
know.
write the book and then you got to learn how to market it.
I know. That's what happened when I went into occupational therapy. Like, what? It involves all this science and it involves all this time that in areas that I don't have any experience with, 20 years out of school. Like, oh, that's hard work. What
Yeah,
you're doing with your books is hard work. And it is have you do get that feeling of accomplishment, mission control when you
yeah.
get it done. Yeah.
And it's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Uh-huh.
But it's so if you have a passion for a book that meets your passion, your soul, a message you have to share with the world, as Nana and I both do, it can be extremely rewarding. But
Yeah.
it's talk about learning to do hard things.
Yes, that's
That's a
right.
hard thing, but
On and
very
on and
rewarding.
on. Yeah.
But once you do it, it's like, okay, it keeps getting easier. You take the next step,
Yes, yeah.
things that I couldn't do when I first published my book. It's like, okay, I can do this now. I have time. I don't have to learn everything at once.
Mhm.
I can
Mhm.
tackle what I can handle. And then as I get that under control, then I can tackle the next step. So
Yeah.
all things that you teach in your books, they apply to real life.
That's right. That's right.
You never stop learning and growing.
And that's one of the things that kids are always surprised by hearing. Like, "What? You're still learning?"
Oh
Like,
yeah.
"Oh, yeah. You have to do hard things?" Yeah.
I don't know if that's reassuring or
Yeah.
depressing. But the funny, okay, so one last story. Okay, so there's the nursery rhyme, you know, Monday's child, Tuesday, Monday's child is fair faced, Tuesday's child is full of grace, Wednesday's child is full of woe, Thursday's child has far to go. But anyway, Saturday's child has to work hard for a living, and I'm a Saturday's child.
No.
And I always felt like that was a curse until it's like, okay, I'm an adult and I'm working. It's like, okay, work is kind of fun.
Oh,
If you have the right work, it's like it's
yeah.
challenging and enjoyable, but it's rewarding.
Mhm.
So, that's something that, you know, people make work sound like, a bad word, but
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
gift.
yeah. Right. I mean,
The
the
right
best that you can.
occupation,
Yeah,
and let's put it this way. People don't do things that are just boring, right?
right, right.
So even people that are addicted to video games, they don't stay at the easy levels. It's like they have
Uh-huh.
to get to the
Yeah.
high,
Yeah,
so
that's
that's why
right.
learning to do hard things is rewarding and empowering
Mhm.
and important for your
Good
life.
example. Yeah,
So
it's a good example.
anyway, so thank you again. Please, again, thank you, Nan Arkwright, and please check out Nan's books. They're available on Amazon, and check out her website, and she'll give you all the other places you can order them. So
Yeah,
we
yeah,
recommend. Can't do better than a pediatric occupational therapist who knows what she's doing and writes books to solve problems and help parents and kids become a team.
yeah. Thank you for having me, Marcia. It was really fun.
Thanks again. Okay, take care.